Thank you for joining me this morning with Patricia Arboleda. She's one of the most sought after authorities in women's leadership today. And today, this morning, we are so lucky because Patricia is going to be sharing a few empowering strategies and really valuable insights to help all of us thrive in our career. Today, Patricia will be leading us through a discussion for about 45 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions from all of you. Again, please be sure to mute your lines now. And then once we invite you to participate in the discussion, you can open up all of your lines. I'm Linda Fisk, the CEO of Leadership Global, and I am absolutely thrilled to welcome all of you to the program this morning. Leadership Global is the most impactful community of extraordinary women in the world, and we're so glad to welcome each and every one of you to the program today. At Leadership Global, we help unleash the full potential of high-performing and growth-oriented leaders in a confidential, supportive, and private community. Leadership Global helps members accelerate their success by defining their vision, growing their leadership, expanding their influence, and leaving a lasting legacy. If you're interested in learning more about this remarkable community of women leading across business, entertainment, and politics, then please feel free to reach out. It would be my pleasure to get to know you. Most of you here are high-achieving women and members of Leadership Global. You are leaders with great ideas and full of ambition, but you've probably realized that moving up the executive ladder and advancing in your career isn't as easy as you'd like it to be. You may feel stuck and even finding yourself asking, okay, so is this it? Or gosh, what's next? Today, Patricia Arboleda will share with you the key learnings that will help you advance in your career. This will be an interactive coaching session, and each of you will have the opportunity to learn a few empowering strategies and valuable insights to help you thrive in your career. You'll learn the critical habits that will set you apart and help you ramp up your skills and self-confidence to design the career you really want for yourself while living a joyful, fulfilled, and balanced life. And doesn't that sound excellent? But first, let me tell you just a bit about Patricia. Patricia is an executive leadership and career coach with Leadership Global. She helps driven women take their careers to the next level, rise, and thrive. As a Latina with 25 years in corporate management, her ascent up the executive ladder means that she brings her own experience to help women crash through the roadblocks that hold them back from having the kind of success that they want. Her executive coaching is designed to help support women to build confidence, create more impact, and set themselves apart with real, lasting results. Her objective is to help women find awareness and challenge the status quo, helping them move forward with accountability and ultimately achieving the success that they're looking for. Patricia has also developed a set of workshops and group coaching programs to help companies in their effort retain their talent, empower women, and create an inclusive culture. Please help me in joining Patricia Arboleda.
Thank you, Linda. Can you all hear me well? Great. So it's very nice to meet you. You can unmute yourself. The objective here is for us to have an interactive session. There is not a whole ton of people, so we're gonna be able to have an open conversation. So looking forward to hearing also your insights while I'm doing the presentation. Insights, questions, feel free to interrupt as you want. So so thank you, Linda, for such a great introduction. So I think that you have heard a lot about me. And just so that you know, I made the decision, like Linda was saying, to quit my corporate job where I had been for 25 years and start my business as an executive leadership and career coach focusing on women. And I did that after I got to a point of burnout in my corporate job. And I decided to look for the things that I needed in order to help me move forward. One of the things that was really liberating was to understand my mindset. So we're going to talk about mindset and how that is like the starting point of many of the things that happen and the habits that we need to have in order to be able to succeed in our careers. So with that, like I was saying, I mean, this is going to be a safe space. Please participate actively. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. One of the ways for us to be able to change and really have a good transformation is to be able to connect, become aware, and share our insights, because we learn from everybody's experience. Enjoy the session and be present. So basically, if you have a phone, or try not to have so many disruptions, so that you can benefit as much as you can from these. And also take time to reflect during and after the presentation, because with reflection is that we get self-awareness. Any questions or comments? Okay, so let me start with one of the key findings about how we need to, or what we need to do in order to advance in our career. So careers, and great careers, are not built by overworking ourselves until burnout. Some of us get a lot of pride by saying that we're working 14 hours a day, and then we are don't have time to do anything else because we're working. So let me tell you, ladies, that's not what we should be doing. There are other ways for us to really advance in our careers. The first thing to be conscious about is that we need to be intentional about our careers. What do we really want to achieve? What's our vision? And really focus on getting there. Once we know that, I'll share with you also a few other things that are important for us to consider. So I'm going to start with this picture, which is representative of, let's say, of us. In a way, when you look at a high performance car like this, and you want to think about improving its performance, you don't think about working on the wheels or working on the machinery or the exterior or anything like that. You think about working on the machinery, on the motor. And so that's basically what we need to do with ourselves. We can develop a lot of skills. We can develop a lot of knowledge about specific things or what we need to do and such. But the real performance or the real ability for us to change our performance is in our mind. So the first thing is for us to understand how the mind works, and from there move forward into the real transformation. So how the mind works. So we have mind. We are made out of mind and body. And in this chart, I'm putting the mind a lot bigger than the body, not by accident. But mainly because our mind is the one that controls everything. So our body is just reacting or acting based on the impulses or the things that our mind determines. Our mind is then divided into the conscious and the subconscious mind, okay? And in order to know and understand and visualize a little bit better how that works, is think about an iceberg. What you see is just 10% of what's under, right? So the top of the iceberg is our conscious mind, which is, as I was mentioning, only 10% of everything that we have in our mind. The subconscious mind represents 90% of it. And the thing is that on the conscious mind is where we have all the logical thinking, the IQ, critical thinking, awareness, etc. And on the unconscious mind, we have the beliefs, the emotions, all the habits and values, and all of those different things. And even the emotional intelligence is in the unconscious mind or subconscious mind. But what's more important, or what's determining the transformation is the fact that the conscious mind allows us to make choice. Or so basically, with the conscious mind, we have choice. We can decide. We can make decisions. With the unconscious mind, we are basically reacting. So the way that the brain works and the mind works is that we have a lot of beliefs or emotions and things saved in our subconscious mind. And what the brain does is that it looks into what are the beliefs that are saved in that subconscious mind and reacts to them. Okay. So basically, because of the reaction of the subconscious mind, our body behaves, right? So that's how it works. So unless we make a conscious choice about the beliefs that we have in our subconscious mind, I mean, we're going to all the time be reacting. It's like when we're driving a car and we are in a highway and we're thinking about something that we're worried about or something that we need to do. And so basically our conscious mind is busy with that. But still we're driving, we're doing all the movements and everything that we need because that's with the subconscious mind. Those are kind of the habits that we have driving. And we miss the exit, mainly because we're not paying attention. So we're going on autopilot. That's kind of how we go in our own lives sometimes. We go on autopilot, just keep going. And our mind and brain reacting to specific beliefs that we have. Okay? So what are those beliefs and how do they form? So when we are little, we live different experiences, we hear things, we are told things, and based on the things that we hear or we are told or the experiences that we have, we start saving those things into our subconscious mind, and those things become our beliefs. Okay, so probably someone tells us, I don't know, I'm going to give you an example. Or we hear that we cannot buy this because it's too expensive. We cannot go there because we don't have enough money. So when we are little and we hear all of those things, we start creating a belief that money is hard to make. I remember when I was little, and I don't know here, but I'm from Colombia, like Linda mentioned, and in Latin America or in Colombia, they used to say, money doesn't grow on trees. So it was like money is really hard to make, and you start creating that belief in your subconscious mind. Because of that belief, then you create some habits, and sometimes that belief can actually stop you from moving forward. Like if you want to do a career change, and you're thinking about doing something and become an entrepreneur, for example, probably you don't do it because your subconscious mind is telling you, oh no, but money is hard to make. Stay on your place where you're secure, where you have financial security, because if you go there, it's unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe you're not going to make enough money. And so you're stuck in that place, just not moving, mainly because of that belief that is basically becoming like a habit. So you get there, you get in your comfort zone. Okay. So the thing is that the subconscious mind doesn't know if the belief is a positive belief or empowering belief, or if it is a limiting belief. Okay. So we have both. So the way for us to be able to recognize what kind of, what is actually guiding our reactions, okay, or our actions, is to connect with our emotions and to understand, are we in a calm, resourceful, creative kind of emotion? And then that means that we have powerful beliefs helping us. But if we are stressed out, or we are feeling anxiety or overwhelmed or doubt, or we are feeling stuck, it's maybe because there is a limiting belief that our subconscious mind, that is going on and really taking over the reactions and the actions that we take. So it's important for us to be self-aware on what kind of belief or what kind of emotion are we feeling in a specific time, to understand if it is a limiting or powerful belief. Normally, when we are in a powerful state of mind, it's impossible for us to be at the same time in a limiting state of mind. So the objective is to be in a powerful state of mind. What happens is that when we are, let's say, guided or managed by a limiting belief, what happens is that we start procrastinating. So let's say that I'm just going to give you an idea. I am in corporate and I want to become a coach, but I have a limiting belief that money is hard to make. And so because of that, I don't even take the first step, which is getting certified, because I'm so afraid of what's going to happen afterwards, then that I'm not even able to decide what certification to take, just as an example. So I start procrastinating. So I start looking into many different options. Then I start, watching TV instead of doing my research, or doing things that are completely taking me away from the path that is going to take me to the place where I really want to be. So that's happening because the limiting belief, which is money is hard to make, is basically controlling my whole habits or reactions. Okay. So why is this important? And let me just give you an example, which I hope that is going to help us get more clarity about what I'm saying. So the way that this works is we have beliefs. And so basically beliefs, as we mentioned, are meanings that we give to past experiences. So one belief in this example I'm going to use is I'm not good enough. Okay, so that's the belief that we have in our subconscious mind. Then because of that belief and the way that the mind works is that once we have the belief, then we have a lot of thoughts. So are the sentences that happen in our mind. It's like our inner voice. And maybe, for example, if I'm looking to apply for a new job, my inner voice is telling me, don't apply, because at the end, you're not going to get the job because you're not good enough, or you're not going to get the job. So my inner voice is telling me, don't apply. You're not going to get the job anyway. So what good does it make, right? That's the thought. Then you have the feeling, but then you feel stuck, you feel anxiety. And so it's a bad emotion because you want that job, but at the same time, your inner voice is telling you, don't apply, right? And so basically the action that you take is that you don't apply. And the result is that you stay in the same place where you are, you don't advance in your career, and you stay in your status quo. So that's just an example of how a limiting belief can stop you from advancing in your career. Because once the opportunity comes and you have the option to go and apply for something that you want, then the limiting belief can pull you down and away from doing what you want. So any questions or comments here? It's a good way, a good moment for you to make a comment. What kind of limiting beliefs have you identified?
Patricia, I will chime in and say that several of these points, match beliefs and thoughts and feelings that I've had before. And as of today, it's, an opportunity may show itself and the thoughts and beliefs are negative that will just flow into, well, what if I don't make enough money to advance my career? What if this new entrepreneurial opportunity that has shown itself, financially puts my family in a bind? So I've had to change my mindset in some of that and say, well, what if it puts my family in a wonderful financial situation? What if I earn more than I can ever imagine? And so that kind of that helped me move forward and act and advance on that opportunity a little further than if I just get stuck in the negative of, I don't want to put my family in in a negative financial situation. Starting up a business is, risky, and, all the negative things that can come into play. So what you're presenting is very true in my experiences.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. And what you're doing a great job, because basically what you're doing is reframing your belief. You're making a conscious decision about what you want to believe. So if the what if is I'm not going to make enough money, you're changing it. What if I make so much money, or I'm able to make more money than what I'm making now, and with that bringing a lot of abundance to my family, right? So it's reframing the belief, what we need to learn how to do. Okay, and I'll share with you. I'm actually going to launch a workshop just to work on changing those beliefs. But thank you, very good point. Anybody else?
I have a question regarding this belief, the limiting belief. As you say, it comes very often unconscious. And since this is unconscious, how can I make myself aware of that? So generate this awareness that I'm going into that right now. I'm trapped in this belief. How can I turn that around and work on that so that I can react rather quickly, that I'm stuck in that belief system in that very moment, to get out of that? Because the consequences of not getting out is exactly then the result we do not advance. So how can I make a stop rather quickly and train this awareness? I'm in there right now. Now I have to change my mindset.
Right. So there is a very useful methodology for in order to do that, which we go over on the workshop. But in the meantime, I can share a few things that it's important for you to do. So basically, becoming aware is the first thing. So becoming aware and discovering what your beliefs are. So understanding where you want to get. And when you hear that inner voice and you connect with that emotion and you say, okay, this is making me feel uncomfortable. I'm listening to that inner voice, and that inner voice is telling me something that is making me feel uncomfortable, unstuck, or anxiety, or anxious. So that's where you say, okay, there is a limiting belief somewhere. So with this, if you want to, you can take a picture of this. And what is very useful, okay, is you do like you put it in a piece of paper and you identify your feeling. So your feeling is, I'm feeling stuck. So once you identify the feeling, because of the fact that you know that this is a process that we go through, okay, then you think about, okay, what is the thought that is coming here? What? And then you go back on to understand the belief. Once you understand the belief, you need to do what Trishan was saying. You need to reframe it. Basically, make a conscious decision about what you want to believe. What is the new belief? And there is a whole bunch of different things that we can do there to reframe that belief. But basically, that's it. You need to reframe the belief and make sure that you make a conscious decision. We have the power to decide what we want. And once we make a decision, we save that new decision in our subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind and the brain is going to go look and is going to find the new decision. And so the reaction is going to be different, right? But we need to be able to rewire that the brain and be able to, let's say, store that new belief in our subconscious mind. Yeah. One thing that is also very useful is visualization. When you visualize, your brain doesn't know what's true and what's not true. Actually, because you think in images, right? So when you do a visualization and you visualize where you want to be or what's the feeling that you want to have and everything, you save that into your subconscious mind, and the brain is going to think that it's true. It's like, that's why, for example, laughing is so important. And there is laughing therapy. You start laughing, the brain will start generating all the hormones, thinking that you're really happy, and you're going to end up feeling happy, even if you're started laughing just to trick the brain in thinking that you're happy. Okay, so those are things that we can do. Okay, so the question is, and this is one moment for you guys to reflect, as I was mentioning, it's important to think and try to become aware of what are the limiting beliefs. What are the patterns of self-sabotaging? So for example, if I am in a point right now that I am able to identify when I'm self-sabotaging, when I'm like, I know that I have to do something, but I know that something is not making me a lot comfortable. And I end up doing a ton of things that are not related to what I need to do. So I am conscious. I make myself aware of the fact that, okay, I'm doing this because I don't want to do what I really need to do. So I need to change. And then I go through all the process of making the decision and all of the different things. And so once we understand that, is ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to tolerate it? Because are you going to allow yourself to continue in that path, or you're going to make a decision and change, right? And it's only you who can make the change, right? Now, like as I was saying, is becoming aware of all the limiting beliefs. And there are a lot. So it's like, I'm not good enough. I cannot decide if I don't have all the perfect information. I'm too old. I'm not likable. I mean, there are so many things that we can hear in the back of our minds, and that inner voice is telling us. So mastering that inner voice is very important, because that's going to help us really. It's the first step. It's a baseline for us to be able to move forward. And so, like I was saying, awareness followed by action leads to change. If we become aware, we're able to change. If we're not aware, it's very difficult to actually create change. Okay, so we need to discover. So like I was saying, take notes, journal, what your inner voice is telling you. Do the exercise that I mentioned before in order to be able to recognize the thought, recognize where the belief is, understand what is your self-sabotaging action. It can be from binging Netflix to, doing something completely different that you don't really need, and it's taking you away from the path that you want. And be aware to recognize if the belief is empowering or limiting. So connect with your emotions. So self-awareness is very important. Not only to be able to listen and pay attention to your inner voice, but to connect to the emotion and take action and choose. Remember that the conscious mind is the one that gives us the capability to choose. And the other one is just reacting. So we have the power to change that consciously, okay? As I was saying at the very beginning, we need to be intentional about our careers. It's very important to know where we are going and why. As I mentioned before, I was in corporate for 25 years. My next step was to continue growing in the executive ladder, to be a VP, senior, whatever. And people were telling me, oh, yes, next step is for you to be a VP. I didn't want to be a VP. I had, that was clear in my mind and in my heart. So even at 51, which I'm currently, I'm 51 now. And so when I made the decision, I was close to being 50, and the age wasn't important at that point. It's what I want to say is that it's never late to connect with your purpose and understand what you really want to do. If it is to continue growing the executive ladder, if you're in corporate, do it. If it is starting a new business, do it. If it is changing to a new career, but you need to make sure that you're doing what makes you happy and what you have decided, not what other people are expecting from you. Okay, so in order for you to do that, it's important to work on your vision. Where would you like your job to take you? Why? What motivates you in that quest is always fundamental to be able to connect with our why, the reason why we want to make some or do something, because that's what's going to help us stay focused on the path that we want to go. It's like if you have always been in corporate and you move to being an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur is not easy. I mean, and learning all the different things that you need to learn to make your business grow, to scale, you need to learn marketing, sales, everything. And when you're a solopreneur, everything is on your shoulders, right? But if you're connected with the why, the reason why you make that decision, you're going to go through all the ups and downs, and you're going to keep on going because you know the reason why you're there. So stay connected with your why. Visualization also, remember, you need to see it before you, to be it, is the way they say it. So once you visualize, your brain is going to help you get there. And it's not, something voodoo or something like that. Is mainly the fact that, like I was saying, when you visualize, you send that image into the subconscious mind, and you start being more aware of things that are happening that probably if you are in that suffering state, you're not aware, because you're connected with that feeling of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? All of that different things that we tend to think or feel when we are in that state. So be ready to let your network know what you want. That's important. So, and we're going to talk about building your brand as well. So sometimes the bigger and most important opportunities come from people you know. And because they know what you want, okay, they're going to think about you when the opportunity comes, and they're going to be able to call you and say, hey, listen, Brigitte, I heard about this. This is what you told me that you wanted to do. Wouldn't be great? Call this person or something like that. That's how opportunities come. But if people don't know what you want because you haven't told them, it's impossible for those type of opportunities to really be present. And like I was saying, prepare yourself to take the opportunities. So to develop your brand, it's important to have your elevator pitch. So that's that 3-minute thing that you are able to say about what you are, what you want, what you do. Okay, so it's important for all of us to have an elevator pitch. What do you do? How do you want to be recognized? Oh, I want to be recognized as a change agent that is transforming business, that is transforming whatever you want to be recognized as. And so a few things that you need to consider in order to start building your brand and start building, your elevator pitch, and is what are the 3 adjectives that best describe you? Okay. What are your top 3 talents? What will others say about that is unique about you? And remember, you need to find that uniqueness. And sometimes you don't see it yourself, but people see it and they're going to tell you, oh my gosh, you were wonderful presenting in that. And the way that you managed the audience was amazing. So that's a unique thing that you have. You're very good at presenting. You manage audiences very well. We tend not to be or to pay a lot of attention to those things. But we need to pay attention and write them down, because when they praise you, they're talking about your uniqueness, how you're showing yourself. And that's also important to take into consideration. And also think about your values. What do you stand for? So with all of that, we can start creating that elevator pitch and building your brand. Okay. Now, for those of you who are in corporate, and I was in corporate for many, many years. And when we are in corporate, we have a tendency, for example, to use LinkedIn to talk about our company. Oh my gosh, I used to work in Hewlett Packard, and all the different things that Hewlett Packard was doing. And I was branding my company, but not myself. So one of the things that if you are in corporate and representing a company, it's good that you represent the company, but also think about the fact that you need to build your brand and have the network around you know what your brand is, what's your value proposition, your unique value proposition. Okay. And talking about network. So having a good network is probably the first thing that we need to consider, that is going to bring us new opportunities, okay, to move forward. So we also work on this is in more detail, but some things that are important for you to know. So it's understand who your power base is, okay? What's the quality of each, the relationships that you have in your power base. Set a clear vision of how you want those relationships to look. What are the gaps between what you want and where you are? What kind of things are you going to do? Set goals in order to be able to close that gap. But sometimes we say, okay, yes, I know having a network is important, but I don't have time. Well, that should become one of your key priorities to advance in your career. Because as important as it is to do your job well, it is important to develop your network and develop your brand. Because otherwise you're going to be excellent doers, excellent at what you're doing, and probably promotion is going to come or something like that. But think about developing your network and think about having your brand. Any questions here? We have a few more things, but we're open to, or I can finish and then we ask the questions.
This is Randa Minkara, and I'd love to ask you a further question about branding. When you're talking about branding yourself instead of your company, I'm pretty guilty of the company side, but I think I'm lucky in that they can promote me because I speak a lot. But I'm curious as to how close in context when you're promoting or building your brand are you thinking is important? So when we think about what we can post on LinkedIn, not just forwarding what the company does, which I'm guilty of, but what else can we do? How tangential, how close does it need to be to build the brand while still being true to the company? How do you accomplish both things is my question.
Yeah, so basically, when you put your profile, talk about you. And about what makes you unique, what's your value. So like I was saying, on your profile, it's important on the key description that you have, also that shows up under your picture. That's another way for you to start like talking about who you are. Like, I'm a transformation agent. Don't put your role, don't put your job, put your values, what your unique value. That's one way. The other way is comment on what people share that are things that are aligned with what your values are, what you think and your thoughts, because that is a way for you to show how you think and your thoughts. And in that doesn't exclude the fact that you can continue sharing about your company, but you're sharing about your company and you're also letting people know how you think about other things and become a thought leader about the things that are important for you. Okay, so setting yourself apart is also, so this is, we all suffer or have suffered, I am guilty of that as well, of imposter syndrome. And because of the famous imposter syndrome, which is nothing else than a whole bunch of limiting beliefs, okay, and beliefs that are stopping us from moving forward, we don't necessarily do what we need to do to set ourselves apart. So, and that means that when we are told that you need to share what you're doing, we say, oh no, I don't like bragging. I don't like people to think that I'm bragging about my successes. They should know that I'm good and that I'm good and everything, all the things that I'm doing. That's not true. You need to be able to claim your achievements. So bring attention and visibility to your successes. Make sure that your boss, if you have one, knows what you're doing. Your boss has many other things than thinking or being attentive to what you're doing. So one way for you to start also building that brand is letting people know what you're doing. I used to manage multicultural teams. I was leading organizations at a global level. So I had responsibility and was able to live in Europe, in Latin America, also in the US. And because of that, I had different types of teams. And I remember telling them, don't let everything that you're doing become the best kept secret in the company. And I was always pushing them to share what they were doing. So it's important that you know, for example, the metrics of success that the power people are looking at. And based on those metrics of success, let people know what you are doing, align with those metrics. Okay, so that's one way for you to become more visible. If you want to create a newsletter, if you want to send an email just with updates about what you're doing, make sure that you have one-on-ones with your boss on a quarterly basis, at least, that you're telling him or her what you're doing, because that's the only way that you're going to be visible and create that mind share in people's in the people that are going to later think about you for a promotion. Okay, so that's important. So it's not bragging. That's one of the stereotypes that we have, and that's one of the limiting beliefs that we have. So make sure that you are aware of the fact that because of you share your successes, it's not that you're bragging. Also, take care of what people tell you that you're doing well. So sometimes when people come to us and say, hey, you did a great job, you were amazing, whatever, and you end up saying, yes, but I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't because of the help of this and that, and you end up distributing the success with everybody else. Don't do that. Say, yes, thank you for the feedback, appreciate the feedback, and that's it. So, and also remember to take notes about what they tell you, because those are the things that you're doing very well. And it's going to help you also grow that confidence in you. I mean, when you start being aware of the things that people are saying about you. Okay. As for what you want, we're always negotiating. Always. And one of the things that we tend to do is that we don't negotiate enough. And it's important for us to practice negotiation and make sure that we understand that we should negotiate. Sometimes men have the tendency to be very good negotiators, and they're recognized because of that, because they go and ask for what they want. We, because of our limiting beliefs, and the imposter syndrome and I'm not good enough and all of those different things, because we have that thing that we need to be perfect, or we don't deserve this and that, or whatever the limiting belief is, we don't ask for what we want. So it's important for us to be able to learn how to negotiate. The first thing that we need to do is reframe. So write down and all the objective reasons why you should ask. It's like, okay, this I'm going to ask for this because, and all the objective positive reasons why you should ask. Who's going to benefit from what you're asking? And to that point, refuse to see it as a zero-sum game. It's not a win for you. It's a win-win, because when you are in a negotiation, the other party is also going to win from what you're asking, for sure. So make sure that you see it as a win-win. Also practice. So if you have a mentor, if you have a coach, practice until it feels natural. So make sure that you prepare as well. So research. I was helping someone in one of the coaching sessions to negotiate for a promotion. So she had already been told that she was going to be promoted, but she wanted to negotiate for her salary and what was the salary that she was going to make. So we started preparing, researching what are all the elements that she was going to bring to the other person about, for example, the things that she had achieved, how those achievements were aligned with the key metrics, what was the benefit that she was bringing to the company, what was her unique value proposition, understanding all of those things. Anticipate to what the other person's perspective could be, okay? And make sure that you make the first offer. Don't wait for the people to come or the other person to come and say, we're going to give you a 10% discount, 10% increase, for example, if it was a promotion, or salary, if we were talking about that. Make the first offer. Prepare. Be self-aware of when is the right moment for you to go and talk and say, listen, I've been thinking about this, and I wanted to ask you, blah, blah, blah. And you make the first offer. I think I should have a 25% salary increase because I have thought about, and then you start with all of that. But make the first offer. Be prepared for that. And remember that it doesn't hurt to ask. I mean, if you don't ask, you'll get that. You're not going to get even a chance. If you ask, at least you have a chance, right? So negotiation is important. And also think about the fact that you don't need to be perfect. Remember the first picture that I had my cape on the side? Throw out your cape. You don't need to be superwoman. You don't need to be perfect and meet all the requirements. Be courageous and take the first step and do it and try. And this is something that I read once from Richard Branson. He said, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not ready to, or you're not sure you can do it, say yes, and then learn how to do it later. I loved it because there are a lot of research, and I'm sharing one here with statistics about the fact that we as women don't apply to the roles that we would like to take that we love, mainly because we think that we don't meet all the criteria. And because of that, we are not sure if we're going to be able to be successful. And then we don't apply. Again, if you think about it, it's another limiting belief that is stopping you from moving forward and from applying. So there is no courage without fear. It's important for you to think about that. You're going to feel fear, but don't let fear stop you, okay? And just to finish, I'm about to launch a 9-week mastermind or group coaching program that is going to include some of those, most of the things that we have discussed today, but we're going to have like action. We're going to be able to take action, do the exercises, and work on each one of the different things that I shared with you today with more time. And it's only 12 people that are going to be able to join, mainly because I like the interaction, and it's not going to be me talking, and it's going to be a real group coaching session on each one of the subjects. It lasts 9 weeks. Each week we cover one different subject, and we go deep in each one of the subjects. And again, we work on rewiring our mindset and things like that. So if you're interested, feel free to let me know. This is my contact information. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. My email is patricia@arboledacoaching.com. We'll share you or the email together with a video recording of this presentation. And I'll be looking forward to hearing about you and staying connected.